Hello Internet, welcome to Games That Time Forgot. It's October here. This time around we're looking at Alpha Protocol, put out in 2009 by Obsidian and Sega Games. It's touting itself as the espionage RPG, which since this is post-Cold War means that it's about terrorism and a game company's inability to say the term Halliburton, although it's clearly Halliburton. Anyway, to get to the plot dump really quick, you're Mike Thornton, an agent for the title of the game, Alpha Protocol, the ultra-black, not CIA, not NSA, not alphabet soup government program that exists solely to make sure the government has plausible deniability when things go boom that shouldn't have gone boom, but really should have gone boom. Throughout the game, it cuts back to scenes of Mike Thornton getting interrogated by the elusive man, a guy who's clearly not the elusive man, who works for Halliburton, sorry, not supposed to say that name, who may be trying to cover up for a weapons manufacturer by reenacting the opening to Iron Man with you as Robert Downey Jr. If you've seen an espionage movie since the end of the Cold War, you know where this is going. There's a cover-up! You have to go rogue to bring the wrongdoers to justice, or, on your choices, possibly side with terrorists, gun runners, and the weapons manufacturer who isn't Halliburton itself, and become fabulously wealthy and probably get killed and buried in a shallow grave by your employers. One thing I have to give this game is this. Your choices do matter, unlike certain third installments of very popular trilogies. They have ramifications throughout the rest of the game. If you let one weapons dealer live, he'll supply you throughout the rest of the game. If you let another one live, he might give you backup. If you shoot them in the face, you might have made that region safer, or you might have created a power vacuum that would be filled by worse people who have no loyalty to you whatsoever because you didn't have a chance to not shoot them in the face. If you followed that, good on you. But then there's also follow-up. You can uncover entire mysteries to the plot that would go unanswered if you are merciful. If you're not, those questions will never get answered because you can't shoot first and ask questions later. Hey! The aphorism works! The key problem, however, is getting to see where those choices end up because the gameplay is... That gameplay. Let's talk about that gameplay for a second, ladies and gentlemen. In most video games, when you aim a gun at somebody, even where they shouldn't die if you shoot them, they die when you shoot them. It's a nice little conceit to gameplay. Shoot them in the leg. Somehow, all their internal organs were there, and they're dead. What's interesting about Alpha Protocol is sometimes you'll point at people, and the guns won't shoot them. You'll shoot the gun, certainly. It makes the rat-a-tat sound, you watch the shells get expended and everything, but they don't fall down. They don't even take damage. And while some of this can be explained away in that more points in a given field, such as assault rifles, submachine guns, shotguns, pistols, and Bruce Leeing the crap out of people's necks, leads to a better understanding of handling those weapons and or yourself in such situations, allowing you to deal death at a better rate, it's still not conducive to a fun gameplay experience when you have to suddenly get flushed from cover, staring down 5 other guys who all have guns trained on you, and every time you shoot, it doesn't make death at all. Then there are a couple graphical glitches where occasionally you'll try to move and won't. Then there's the occasional holding the gun wrong. Really wrong. I mean, you can't even shoot like that. It's not even pointing at the guys. But the reticule's on there, so yeah, sure. I'm coming down really hard on the gameplay right now, but if you guys have followed these videos for a while, you know I'm a story nut. I'm willing to go damn near anywhere if the story is interesting enough. I'll endure a lot of stuff, and I endured the gameplay in Alpha Protocol. The gun mechanics of it are the drunken lawn darts in Morrowind, to coin a phrase from co-host Dash. It's that, in a nutshell. So why did I endure it? Well, for one thing, the characters all stand out. They have distinct personalities, even the people who you see once or twice. They have lives. They have full, well-rounded lives and personalities. And the game is flush with female characters. Kind of refreshing for a game like this. You expect certain things from the spy genre. Well-rounded female characters, plural there, characters, is one of those things you really don't often expect. But Mina, Scarlet, C, and even Sis, the mute, are really interesting people who I wanted to know more about. And at times I did, with sexy results. Sexy results! Sexy results! And that one scene where a lot of people are apparently uncomfortable with it, but it just felt in character and fine to me, where C takes control of the situation. Even Madison, the throwaway, most Bondy girl of the girls, fairly well written, and who can either be the tragic one who got away or the tragic one who got away. Another thing that I liked was the voice acting. It's pretty clutch. Not just because they had one of my favorite voice actresses, Courtney Taylor, who you may know as Jack from Mass Effect. She plays Scarlet Lake, the photojournalist with a shadowy past, a shadowy present, and, depending on how you play the game, a shadowy future with shadowy agent Mike Shadow. Thornton, sorry. Another strong thing, although it's not voice acting, but it is in that way that jazz is about not playing certain notes, is the character Sis. She's in it very slightly, but she steals all the scene. She's a mute, but that just means that the graphics team went into overdrive. The character design on her is phenomenal, and she conveys a lot of emotion. It's not quite Uncanny Valley, but it's getting close, and it actually made me go, why isn't there a second game with her? Oh yeah, that's because you can shoot her in the face. I can kind of understand why there is no sequel to Alpha Protocol, in that sequels on choice-based games are very difficult, because you have to account for everybody's choices, or you're going to make a lot of people angry. So in a way, I'm kind of glad it's one and done, but it's a world I wouldn't mind revisiting. Or, it's a style of game I wouldn't mind revisiting with a different IP. Now that's maybe one of the biggest shames of this. Alpha Protocol was an original IP, and there's so much that could have been done with this world. Had it been better, had it not been beta in its controls and alpha and everything else, this would have been phenomenal. Just absolutely great. But seriously, the controls and the gun mechanics drag it down. This is a 6 out of 10 game. If you're a story junkie like me, I recommend it wholeheartedly. But if you're looking for a well-rounded game experience, and a fulfilling one at that, avoid. Just avoid it. Everything else about this game, other than the storytelling and the voice acting, is just woof. So, that's the first of our recommendation series here on Games That Time Forgot. I'd like to thank Noah, aka Noah Motion from Pwned Pub, for recommending Alpha Protocol, and please feel free to leave recommendations in the comments below. If we get to them, we get to them. If we don't, you have my apologies. For Games That Time Forgot, this is October. I don't have a catchphrase. Later, people of Earth.